You have things that you want to get up to that your soul is calling you to do. We need you to step into your gifts. We need your embodied presence and light and love and the gifts that you came here to share. This is what is inspiring. This is what we're being asked to do. This is the Leading with Love podcast. We're gathered here to open our hearts, expand our souls, live fully in our gifts, and co-create the world we want to see. Let's dive right in. Hey, beautiful souls, and welcome back. Thank you for being here. I'm Shauna, your host for the Leading with Love podcast. And today I want to tell you a little story of what it's like to step into your gifts. You've heard me say often, if you've been with me for a while here or in my love notes that I send out every day on Telegram, that we are all being called to step into the gifts that life gave us, the divine gifts that we have. That little voice in our heart has been calling for so long for us to actually do the thing. And you know, if you have this calling, what I'm talking about. And I am doing this myself, and I am full of garbage if I don't actually embody what it is that I'm talking about and inviting you to. So I wanted to share a little bit about what that path has been like, because I went really far one way and really far another, and now I'm discovering not just a happy medium, but a higher path that is more than the sum of its parts. And I think this is really important to express as we up-level and step up and live into the future versions of ourselves that is in our wildest imagination and our heart's dreams and desires. So let's just call this the last 20 years, the last couple of decades. Like so many people, I got into personal development and I read every single book. I took every single course. I wanted to be successful. And in my case, I had a couple of different companies. I worked for different people, but I'm going to use real estate as an example because it's the most recent. It's a sales career, so many of you can identify with that. And I was self-employed, working for a real estate brokerage, but needed to be very self-motivated, right? And many salespeople fail for this reason, because it's difficult to motivate yourself if you don't choose to nurture that intrinsic, get up and go get 'em tiger kind of energy, right? So in that realm, I'll call it the 3D success paradigm realm, I did all the things. Like I said, I attended all the seminars. I read everything. I listened to motivational stuff. When I was running in the morning, I was always on and wanting to be the best that I could be in that arena. And so eventually, I ended up being a top producer in 2 different cities. So imagine I would do showings in one city. On a Saturday, for instance, I would take a red-eye flight, and I did this countless times, and then do showings in that city, and I would sleep in my rental car, or I would, just in between times, because a hotel wasn't available yet, and I was exhausting myself, but I would never tell the clients that I was working for. So also part of that skill set was to be personable and kind and in service and helpful and effective and good at what I did, regardless of how I was feeling. But I would have blisters on my feet and I would just be absolutely exhausted. I took so many red-eye flights. And so that's one end of the spectrum, okay? There is this pendulum swing that I experienced, and I'm hoping this will be very valuable for you. Somebody needs to hear this. So on that end of the spectrum, I ended up being a top producer in both of those cities, and I burned myself out, as you can imagine. Eventually, I just had to take a step back. I had all the wonderful accolades, and there are certainly many people who were more successful than I was, but it came with all the things that I was hoping it would. The prizes and the awards and the happy clients and just the success, okay? And the financial reward as well, of course. It was more money than I had ever made in my life. It was one of those thresholds where I passed more money, say, for instance, than my father had ever made in his life, and that's a big one for a lot of people that kind of unconsciously holds them back. So let's just leave that, put a pin in that for a second. So then, once I felt utterly exhausted and really took a breath and asked myself what I wanted to do, I started to follow my heart more. And I went completely the other way, other end of the spectrum, other side of the pendulum swing, and I went away for 2 years. I still had choice clients that I kept to make sure that I could keep a roof over my head, but I went to Hawaii And I was also in one of these places caring for both of my parents who were dying, as it turns out, and I lost both of them in those couple of years. But I also spent a lot of time on the islands of Hawaii. So I went back and forth and did those two things and did not pay attention to real estate. I kept my prize clients that I loved so much, and I gave many, many people away. And at the time, that felt like, it felt very radical to me, even though we know we will be so much happier when we only work with aligned clients, whatever niche and industry we are in. It's so much less exhausting. And let me just say, as a sidebar, I actually did fairly well with just those few clients, and I was way happier, okay? However, we're not talking about that right now. I do training on that now with connection and keeping aligned clients and things like that. But what I want to talk about is that pendulum swing to a completely different life. So there I was on the islands of Hawaii, and I spent many, many months there. I was grieving. I was doing a ton of healing. I was recuperating, replenishing my energy, looking at what I wanted to do, really feeling into my soul and my spirit and the callings that I have in this world. So I ended up doing some plant medicine journeys, and then I ended up guardianing for plant medicine journeys. If you don't know what that means, it just means like holding space and being a guardian and a facilitator for people who are coming to do those journeys. And it was incredible. I was so in my purpose and in the gardens of these beautiful islands for months, feet covered in red dirt, the beautiful Hawaiian red dirt, especially on the island of Kauai, just communing with the land and with nature and feeling so connected to my purpose, to these islands, to my soul community that I have there, to my heart. My heart was so open. I healed so many patterns. I started leading guided meditations. I have done that online, but I was doing it in person. So all of these things felt so nourishing to me. The opposite of the exhaustion that I had felt, okay? And of course, because I was doing no hustling and grinding, and I was so at peace and in the present moment, the funds started to run out. I started running out of resources. Of course I did. And I wasn't really worried about it. I had enough clients that I managed to assist from afar, and I have an amazing team. I still have my real estate license, and I love my clients that I have kept, and I love my team. But I really was not super involved in real estate. And so obviously I started to notice like, yikes, I better do something about this. And so now I'm back in one of those two cities. As I speak to you, I'm back in one of those two cities. And what I'm recognizing, and have been for the last several months after leaving that environment, is I need to find a happy medium. But what's actually happening is it's not a happy medium. I don't want a happy medium. I don't want a balance between the two, although that is what it looks like in one way. But what it really is it's taking all the skills that I learned and all the heart and the passion and the purpose and the gifts and the ignition and the catalytic energy and the expansion and the soul awakening, all of those things, and combining them into a path that is the higher version of a balance between the two. It's not just a balance between the two. And this is really important because I'm not compromising. And this is what I want to share. Your gifts, when you step into them fully, they are not just leaving everything else behind. You get to bring with you everything that you have learned. It's a synthesis. It's a higher version of yourself that you're stepping into that brings everything that you have learned in the 3D paradigm. And if you're on a spiritual journey, you get to bring that open heart. You know that your purpose is higher than just that 3D physical world. Anybody who has that soul calling, that voice in their heart that's telling them they're meant to have impact in this world, you have things that you want to get up to that your soul is calling you to do. Life, if you want to say it that way, is calling you forward. And when you do step into that, and if you already have, you know what I mean, it is a higher version of yourself. There's no other way to say it. And so this is what happened with me is I went one end of the spectrum in one part of my life, and then far away from that, an entirely different life. I lived in yurts. I lived, like, I'm telling you, this was a whole different ballgame from a condo in the city. It's just wild how different it was. it's like walking on the earth as two different people. And now, instead of choosing between those two different people, which is kind of what I thought I had to do, I'm choosing instead to recognize that there is an integration of all of the beings that I have been, all the versions of myself, and bringing them with me, letting go of the parts that don't serve me and say that I can't do this, and stepping into everything that I came here for. Because I do not want to be one of those people who on my deathbed is such a cliche that I regret the things that I have not done, that I did not answer that call. I don't want to die with my music in me. And I know that I have things to share in this world. I've had enough reflection from people here and in my love notes and on my posts on social media that what my heart has to share is valuable. And I'm just the vessel. And the more that I can become clear as a vessel and let whatever wants to be spoken through me, the more I am living in my purpose. And the more I get to embody that, the more I can be an example of what is possible. And the same is true for you. I want you, we need you to step into your gifts. We need your embodied presence and light and love and the gifts that you came here to share. This is what is inspiring. This is what we're being asked to do now. And this is how we co-create the world that we want to see. It's up to us, each of us who feels this call. So that's what I wanted to share today, and I hope that I didn't forget anything, and it's totally okay that I did. I just know that I'm choosing every day to support and serve the future self that is calling to me and all of the people that I can impact if I do that. Many wise people have said if you don't step into your gifts and fulfill your purpose that only you can do, and as only you can do, you are denying the world of your genius, of your light, of your brilliance, of your wisdom, of all the beautiful things that you have to share. Sing your song, speak whatever it is, show up to what life is asking you to do. I am doing it. It's taking me courage in some cases. It's very tempting to go back, I will tell you, especially because I'm in one of these cities, and I'll just, well, why not be authentic and vulnerable, right? That's what we're here for, is to share with each other genuinely, to inspire each other on the path together. I feel the pull and the temptation to just get back into real estate because it's familiar. I know how to do that. I could grind it out and spend a couple months making 1,500 calls a day like I used to, and I'm sure that I would do well, but I'm not doing that. I'm choosing differently, and I'm trusting that I can bring all of those skills with me, and knowing that I have this beautiful synthesis of heart and soul and purpose and love and business skills and people skills and all the things that I have that I can consciously bring to the table. And you have that same toolbox as well of your own beautiful things that you bring to the table. So I am asking you, inviting you, giving you a permission slip to do the same in whatever way that looks for you. And I am so grateful in advance for all of you who are going to be doing this, and now for everyone who is. Thank you guys for doing this with me, for walking this path with me. I send you so much love, and I wish you the best day ever. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you enjoyed this episode and it helped you open your heart, feel inspired, and know that we are all connected. Please subscribe and share so this work can touch more people. This is how we co-create the world we want to live in. Thank you so much again for joining us, and talk to you next time.